My name is Ivana Tu, and this is my Module 3 product. For my Module 3 product, I chose the following prompt, which asked me to choose a novel or play in which a minor character serves as a foil for the main character. I used the Gothic novella written by Robert Louis Stevenson, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are perfect examples of foils. Dr. Jekyll is a respectable man who follows the rules of society, but he feels as if he is motivated by dark urges. Even though Hyde was a result of an experiment gone wrong, Dr. Jekyll had pure intentions only. He wanted to rid himself of his dark side, but instead he created Mr. Hyde. Hyde took control of Jekyll, and while he did, he committed several crimes without feeling guilt, and acted in a way that we would never expect from Dr. Jekyll. This is my thesis that answers the following prompt from 2008. In The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, it is apparent that good and evil are not distinct from each other, but are intertwined and defined by each other, which is shown through the foil of Dr. Jekyll, the quintessentially morally upright man in the eyes of society, to Mr. Hyde, the secret, darker side of himself. In this situation, Dr. Jekyll is standing amazed by his creation of Hyde. We see this sense of freedom and childlike astonishment take control of his mind. By including the phrase natural and human, this proves that Mr. Hyde is the physical representation of all the immoral thoughts and actions that Dr. Jekyll possesses. This second quote shown above shows the duality of man. Within most, there is an internal debate between good and evil, yet we see how Dr. Jekyll is responding to his foil, taking control of his mind and own actions. In this Gothic novella, Mr. Hyde is seen as the bad angel, and he fits this archetype for a good reason. He provides a feeling of temptation for Dr. Jekyll, and as a result, we see Jekyll lead to evil actions. This brings out the weakness of Dr. Jekyll, as we see him continuously use Hyde as an excuse for evil. This quote is similar to the previous one showed, but it becomes more apparent how much Dr. Jekyll, who is the good angel, has been tainted by Dr. Hyde, the bad angel. Not only do we see behavioral differences between the two men, but we also see the physical differences as well. Dr. Jekyll is described as a middle-aged, distinguished-looking, large man, whereas Mr. Hyde is younger, more energetic, and described by just about everyone as seeming to have a deformity. Through Enfield's conversation with Mr. Utterson, we discover that just about everyone in the town finds something off about Mr. Hyde. This is the part of the novel where Lanyon sees the connection between Jekyll and Hyde. This shows the duality of man as it was previously expressed by two people and has now become one. The foils have become one, and we see how Mr. Hyde truly was the weakness of Dr. Jekyll. The inclusion of the description, pale and shaken, proves the physical damage that Mr. Hyde has inflicted on Jekyll, and through this phase, we see the stress and agony that he is under. Mr. Hyde's behavior and appearance contribute to why he is an outsider in this novel. Hyde commits several crimes in society without feeling guilt. He is also described as pale and dwarfish. His appearance and behavior is the direct opposite of what a traditional Victorian man would act and look like. And that's the end of my Module 3 product. I enjoyed reading The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson.